So today I'm going to do a tutorial for you guys on dry sensory bottles. So kids love these, they're super fun and easy to make, and you really don't need a lot to make them. Dry sensory bottles, I tend to do nature walks to get the supplies because kids love to be able to pick the things out and put them in there. So again, we're focusing on dry sensory bottles, and we're going to make 2 of them out of some fun stuff that you may or may not have lying around but are easily accessible and really cheap to get. So let's get started. And again, as always, I let you guys know I enjoy working on the floor. I absolutely hate being in chairs, so I apologize. So what you're going to want is a couple Gatorade bottles. You want to rinse them out really good with soap and water and let them dry as completely as possible so that they do not mold, especially if you're going to be putting dry materials in them. So I have 2 right here, and you want to remove these, which we will do here in a second. You can really use anything. Stuff that I like to use, little marbles, you can get these at the dollar store really easily. These I happen to have lying around, and they'll fit through the top, little mosaic stones. And these ones are actually pretty nice and colored. I like that. They have a nice shine to them. Confetti of any kind. I have some leftover of graduation confetti for lovely graduation stuff, so I have those. Popsicle stick. Now these are fun if you're trying to make a color coordination sensory bottle game. So that just means each sensory bottle has their own specified color. These are just extra fun stuff. They're things to figure out and point out. Glitter. Whoop, I'm getting rid of my place markers here. Apparently, my lovely flowers. Some glitter. Whee! These I got at Michael's for I think like $2, if that. Ribbon if you want. Try not to do the textured ribbon because the kids can't feel them, but do different prints on them. If you can't tell, they have different designs on them so kids can pick out different colors. Gems. Kids love things that sparkle and shine, so lots of different colors, lots of different gems. Again, the popsicle sticks, like I said, you can get most of this stuff at the dollar store. Really simple. If you have fabric laying around, different color fabric, cut them into strips of different sizes, different shapes, and put them in there. Kids absolutely adore that. And flowers. If you're not going on a nature walk, these things are super fun, super easy to put into the bottles, and I'll show you how to remove them off the stems. Again, you can get a bushel of these at the dollar store for really cheap. So let's go ahead and get started. When we get our bottle, we do want to make sure this comes off. So let's go ahead and start that. If you need to cut it, you can. Most of the time they just pop right off. They are sticky right here. You can always wash that off with some scrubbing powder or with a little bit of heat. So 1 bottle. Let's move that out of the way. And bottle number 2. Like I said, I already washed these ahead of time. You do want to make sure they're washed and fully dry before you do. If you're doing a wet sensory bottle, preferably not, because you're going to be putting liquids in there anyways. But with the dry ones, of course, you want to make sure that they're not going to collect mold and that the stuff in it isn't going to get nasty. So when you're done, they should look something like that. So we're going to take the tops off, put them off to the side. Put them off to the side. So what should we do for this sensory bottle? Well, you know what? I'm thinking flowers. So with flowers that you come on stems, they actually just, if you pull right off, and they will keep their little stem on them. So you can just pull them right off, and as long as they fit in there, I don't know if you can see, just pop it right in there. Oh, now we have a flower in there. What else do we want to put with this flower? You know what? I think some gems, some different colored gems will make this delightful. So we got some gems in there. Well, you know what? I don't think we have enough. We need more. Something that sparkles and shines and makes noise. Whoops, as I'm dropping them all around. Things that sparkle and shine and make noise. What else? I think with the flowers, these will be too heavy, these marbles, so I won't do that. But maybe, oh, I just lost it. Some confetti. Go ahead and move these so I can center this on the placemat so that these do not go everywhere. As you see, they're already falling everywhere on the floor. So far I just have a lot of glitter and confetti, and that's okay. Shinies move, they fly around, they do all sorts of fun things, but you know, I think I need more flowers. Let's go ahead and get a couple purple flowers. Like I said, they just popped right off, and just go ahead and pop them right in there. So far we have a nice little thing. You know what, I think let's do a little bit of a color in there. What color should we choose? I'm thinking, since we got a lot of purples and yellows, maybe a little bit of green to make that go. Now this doesn't look that interesting to an adult. It looks like just a mishmash of nothing. Kids get so engulfed in anything that they get to look and find and turn around and do all sorts of things with. So, but I don't have any scissors, or else I'd put a little bit of fabric in there of a different color, which I may or may not do later with my next set. But let's go ahead and put maybe just a pop of orange in there. So really fun, really simple, really easy. Nope. Sorry, not done yet. I want one more flower. So we're going to take the cap, we're going to put that off to the side, make sure it doesn't spill so we can do our next one. This one I am going to do with some of the marbles. Yay! They're going to jingle a lot more. So get a couple different colors. I mean, obviously some of them blend. Ooh, that makes a nice sound. Let's get some blue. And some green and some different blues in there. That looks like maybe enough. Maybe a couple more. Again, like I said, you can get most of these at the dollar store really cheap. I probably spent on most of these supplies $5 or $6, except for the Gatorade bottles, which I have on hand because I make a lot of these from time to time. Now, again, I love these mosaic tiles, so I'm going to stick these really pretty mosaic tiles in here. I have these extra from a different project, so that came in handy. Now, the back sides don't really look pretty. You can always put ribbon or something on the back to make it look a little bit more. And, of course, I don't think one of these is really complete without gems. More shinies. Lots and lots of shinies. Now, you don't have to fill them all the way to the top, and I'll show you why. Once the cap is on, kids are gonna shake it up. They're gonna turn it and look at everything that's in it. So you can also do what's a fun seeking game is hide stuff in rice. So if you fill this with rice and then you put these materials in and shake it up and have it as an identifier game. So not only is it a sensory where they can like look and see what's in there, they actually get to identify the things, and usually that's sent for kids who are older who can identify the objects more. We'll make a different one in a different tutorial. For now, I think that's okay for a bottle, maybe a little bit more of the gems, because shiny is important to kids. Things that catch their attention. Shiny. Oh, nope, not done yet. I think we need a little bit more of these. It doesn't sound loud enough yet. And definitely some more shiny. Maybe just one itty bitty flower. Alright, now that that's done and we have our lids, you are going to want a hot glue gun. Mine is already set up. The reason this is important is how easy is it to take that lid off? Everybody thinks, oh, kids can't do it. 2-year-olds can take lids off, 1-year-olds can take lids off if they're really determined. So they don't eat choking hazards like these. What do? Glue. So you're going to get your lid, and as quickly as possible, just coat and coat as much as you can around the lid, just like that, and quickly stick it and line it up and twist it as hard as possible, and then let that dry. You can also do again on this side. I tend to do it again around the rim just as an added security so they don't rip things off. It's up to you if you want to. I've found that sometimes it works. I tend to do it more for the liquid ones than I do for this. But before you start shaking it up, let it dry. But now we have a fun noise maker. And you get a clicking. I don't know if you can see all that. How fun does that look? Just shiny and all that stuff you get to identify. Now, bottle number 2. Let's move some of these popsicle sticks out of the way. Oh, before I do that, I have some extra confetti. Confetti! Placemats are so fun because you could just pick them up and see most of them are flying away. Yeah, well that didn't work to my benefit, but that's okay. Got 1 star that flew away. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do it again. All the way in the lid. Just turn the lid and go as quickly as possible because you want that glue as hot as possible to seal correctly. Go all the way around. And just stick it on, line it up, and screw it as tight as possible. There you go. Now you got another one. This one's not as loud, but definitely a lot of fun. Identifiers and stuff. Now again, adults find these very interesting. They're like, well, it's just a mishmash of stuff. Kids have such great imaginations that this is a lot of good sensory for them. It's amazing sensory. But again, really simple, fast to do, easy to make. I tend to go on nature walks so that the kids can pick stuff out and put them in themselves so they feel more accomplished. Kids can make them themselves as long as there's supervision. Like I said, a lot of choking hazards. A lot of choking hazards. Kids are very good with that. But again, list of supplies. Flowers, you can get them at the dollar store. The colored popsicle sticks, a pack for 100 at the dollar store. This I got at Michael's for like $8, but I use all the gems for other projects, so buying in bulk works for me, but if it doesn't for you, you can probably find them cheaper. You can find glitter at the dollar store. I got these at Michael's for a different project. I tend to use glitter like this in my liquid sensory bottles, but you can also do them in your dry sensory bottles. It's not going to hurt them. It's just going to add a lot of pretty colors that shake around. Or like snow globes. I like these for making snow globes with the kids. Again, ribbon. You're not going to so much want the textured ones. You're going to want the ones that have prints on them for these because the kids aren't going to be able to touch the textures to know the difference. It's just going to be something that's a little different to look at. But fabric that have all these different colors and patterns is the same with the ribbon. Cut them into different shapes and sizes and the kids will fall for them and go crazy. Marbles or pebbles. These ones are pebbles actually. I don't know why I'm calling them marbles because they make the same sound. You can get these at the dollar store. Really simple, really cheap. Make a lot of fun noises. Confetti. You can always get confetti at the dollar store, or if you have some lying around from a project like mine, my graduation project. The mosaic tiles, like I said, I got mine at Michael's, but I was doing a craft with them, and I had some left over, so that was my own thing. But if you want to do something different, you can. You don't have to do exactly what it is, and that's pretty much it. You do want a hot glue gun. Make sure that's hot and ready to go. And that's it. You're all set. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and have fun making some loud, noisy, dry sensory bottles. Talk to you guys later. Bye.